Hi, I'm Katie Kramer, President and CEO of the Betcher Foundation. Welcome to Colorado Leadership Stories, where we talk to everyday, courageous leaders who have made transformational impacts in their communities and are building a better state for everyone. You'll hear from leaders and organizations and communities throughout the state as we explore the idea that leadership is an activity that anyone can do. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with Dr. Lisa Roy, the Executive Director for the Colorado Department of Early Childhood. Lisa was named recently one of the top 25 most powerful women in business by the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. She's also received accolades like the 2022 Harmon Award for Early Childhood Mental Health and CU Denver's Distinguished Alumni Award in 2024. We'll hear about her personal leadership story and how she's advanced early childhood education in our fine state of Colorado. Lisa is an inspiration to many and is passionate about leadership, education, and community impact. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Katie. How are you?
I'm great. And it's so much fun when you get to sit down with your friends. And I know we've been in the business for a long time together in all these different versions of work. And it's been so much fun, certainly to see you get all these incredible awards that you so deserve, but also the amazing, impactful work you're doing. So anyway, let's dive in. So I know that you come from a long history of educators, including all the way back to your great-grandfather, Professor John W. Bruner, who was the superintendent, and your great-grandmother and grandmothers were teachers. Tell us more about your childhood and how your love of education and community work began.
Sure. Well, I would say it's like breathing air when you're in a family that's engrossed in education. So I didn't know anything differently.
Right.
They had high expectations. And yet, what I would also say is that things change. So by the time I attempted to go to college the first time, at age 17, no one knew how to fill out financial aid or do all these other things that you do. And so it was a stressful time. I didn't qualify. I had to pay the full tuition because I was out of state. I had gotten a full ride scholarship to New Pulse. I mean, I could go on and on and on, and I won't. But my commitment to education was a natural thing. It's something I even tried to get away from. I wanted to do other things, but there's something about, as you said, leadership is a passion of mine, but leadership and education together that drew me back, even with all of the nuances and different roads that I took to get there.
Right. Well, and I think the connection to your work, having that background in history, but also our shared experience too, being moms, and your work now in early childhood, and you felt this deeply, right? As a young mother with little kids trying to make ends meet with childcare. And I know you have several kids. We're excited that one of them, James, is in our Doers and Difference Makers program. So it's so fun to get to know the rest of your family. But maybe share a bit of that story. How did that experience influence your work now?
It influenced it a lot. I was a stay-at-home mom with 3 children under the age of 4.
Oof.
My husband was in education, and so we didn't make a lot of money. And I remember my brother-in-law, who was in med school, said, "Your husband, my brother, is having a hard time financially. You should go back to work." And I looked at what the cost of childcare was, and I knew it was impossible. And I'm not a crier, but I was like, oh my gosh, how can I do this? And ultimately, I applied for subsidy. We made $5 too much, but I was fortunate enough to have my children at Mile High Early Learning. And so United Way paid the gap. I see my role as to pay it forward every chance I get. And that's what my career has become about.
So I know that the Colorado Department of Early Childhood is pretty new in our state, right? 2022. Tell us about what the department does and how you've shaped its organizational mission and culture as being the first executive director.
I'll start with the fact that I was in Nebraska at the Buffett Early Childhood Institute, was hearing about all this great work that was going on in Colorado. I had left for a very short period of time, and they brought all of these disparate programs together under the Office of Early Childhood first, many of them, but not all.
Mm-hmm.
And so this new department was created to house universal preschool and all of the programs that were under the Office of Early Childhood. So that's early childhood mental health, early intervention for children with disabilities, birth to 2.5. We have 11 evidence-based home visitation programs, Dolly Parton Imagination Library, Reach Out and Read, which gives books to children in pediatricians' offices, our workforce division, which really focuses on professional development and training for all types of early childhood professionals, but also looks at compensation and benefits. So all of these incredible programs, fatherhood, I could go on, but under one roof.
Mm-hmm.
And so Governor Polis and again, our bipartisan legislature made sure that this was a focus of theirs, so much so that they created a cabinet position and ensured that there was a new department to run all of these programs.
It's wonderful. And I know part of the work of the last couple of years has been rolling out universal preschool,
Yes.
right? And that started in 2023 as part of your department's mandate. What are some of the early lessons from implementing such a large-scale initiative?
Wow, there were so many things that we could focus on in this conversation. But one of the things I want to point out is that our team got it done. So we were 27th in the nation as far as access for preschool and went to third in 1 year.
Wow.
And so that was a Herculean effort. The other thing I would say is that the department trying to bring all of these siloed programs together while building a backbone, that's hard, but it's been critically important for our families that they can come to one place and have all the programs that support them from birth to age 5.
Yes, it's Herculean that you got it done. And what is kind of next with that, with the initiative?
So next for universal preschool, we're really focusing on quality supports. And so families are using a mixed delivery system. That's what's unique about Colorado. So it could be home-based, center-based, or school-based. So we want to ensure that our supports are there no matter what the setting, so that they're high quality and children are learning optimally and ready for school.
Well, and it occurs to me, we have such a diverse state, right? All different types of communities, right? From trying to implement the same model across Denver or Pueblo or rural Colorado, where there's different needs, different strengths, different challenges. How do you support and listen to all of these communities when you're trying to do your work?
It's so important to listen.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
And so visiting communities, getting to know what their challenges are, mostly what their assets are. Because again, we try to ensure that we understand what everyone brings to the table first, and then what the gaps might be. So for instance, think about me trying to go back to school
Right.
after having 3 children, but I had a lot of assets. And so someone could look at that situation in the negative, or they could look at the positive. But there's a reality that's both.
Right.
And so for many of our communities, it's just getting to know them. And they're all so different. So rural versus our resort communities versus urban versus frontier. When I'm traveling around, there are families that have to travel 1 hour just for childcare and then another hour to work.
Wow.
In our resort communities. Whereas in our rural communities, it might just be there's a lack of childcare, period. And even the superintendent is sometimes doing cafeteria duty or driving the bus. I mean, you have multiple jobs that you're doing when you're a leader in a rural community.
You absolutely do. And I love what you said about it being, we have different assets from around the state. So just let's say a little bit more about that. When you think about some of those things that make rural special and wonderful and unique, like talk about what those assets are in your work.
I love visiting rural communities because everyone knows everyone. They can tell you exactly, when we were talking about assets, that person can do this person can do that. And again, they're doing multiple roles all the time. They also are just very practical
Right.
about what it's going to take. And they don't have any illusions that someone's going to come and rescue them from whatever challenges are there. They are committed to their own solutions and sustainability. That's an important thing because, again, you can dump a bunch of resources into any community. I find that our rural community really will ask themselves, is this something we could do on our own first?
I think that's so right. And I think that they are very efficient with those resources because they have to be.
Yes.
And so there's just really special things that are in our rural Colorado communities. And I was just thinking about how that affects your work. When we hear about in our work too, about what are some of those big things that affect Colorado, right? Whether it's housing but childcare always comes up. What do you think are some of the biggest opportunities we have that we're not able to do something about?
Well, we're doing a lot in Colorado, but we could do more. So one example in Uray, Colorado, there are builders that are building homes that are pre-licensed to do childcare.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things are exciting. Employer-based childcare programs that we're doing with Epic, and these are business leaders that invest in early childhood. All of these solutions, again, are coming from local communities up to the state level to say, these are public-private partnerships that we believe could work from our local community. So I love to see more of that wherever possible. We had a ton of stimulus money, so we have an opportunity to really look at what worked in rural communities based on, again, we didn't tell any community what they should do with the money. They decided what to do and requested it. So looking at some of the evidence around what worked and what didn't work is going to be important over the next couple of years.
Right. That's great. Some good examples. Is there something that when you think about just any old Coloradan out there that you wish that they knew about some of the challenges that you face in early childhood?
It's important for Coloradans to understand the importance of the early years. So brain development, birth to 5, 80 to 90% of brain development happens at that time. And so for people to understand that the quality of opportunities for young children is important, whether a child is at home, us as parents putting the phone down, putting the computer down, looking our children in the eye and engaging with them, not asking yes and no questions, but actually engaging with them, talking to children from the womb till when they come out. All of those things are important. And I feel like, again, we in Colorado, for the most part, understand that, but I don't think everyone understands that. So that's important. Also, with childcare, we don't really pay a living wage to people who are in the field. So when you think about when someone gets to retirement age, like I'm about to get to, do they have to keep working because they have no choice? Many of our early childhood professionals, about 30% qualify for some kind of public assistance.
Wow. That's an amazing
So
stat.
think about that. So there, again, development of young children is important, supporting our workforce, and again, supporting our families, because if we want folks to be able to be in the workforce, we have to make sure that their children are in high quality opportunities that are preparing them for school and beyond.
Right, certainly. Well, and you reflect back just in this amazing sprint you've been on since 2022 in this role. What are you most proud of?
That is a hard question. What am I most proud of?
Yeah.
I'm proud of bringing a team of people together, building up the backbone of the agency. We'll be handing that to a new governor and a new leader over the early childhood department. I am proud of the gains that we've made in universal preschool. I'm proud of our governor and legislature. I can't take any credit for it, but our policies have made us number one according to the prenatal to age 3 policy center. just because of, again, we're a family-friendly state that tries to put more money back into the pockets of families.
Mhm. That's great. Well, and you had to have the right leader at the right time. And so I think it's amazing what you all have accomplished in the last couple of years and exciting things for Colorado. I want to turn it back to you, just at the risk of making it a little uncomfortable, to talk about your leadership. This is Colorado Leadership Stories, and we're doing amazing things. I think the state is in this effort on early childhood, but you are an incredible leader and certainly have received these recognitions recently, though, so that more people know about all that. I just think about, you're not just a leader, but you're a writer and a scholar. And I know that your writing explores some personal history and lesser known narratives. Just maybe talk about what draws you to storytelling.
I love learning about my family history. I've learned some interesting things. Like, I didn't know I had a great uncle that had a land grant from Woodrow Wilson,
Oh my goodness.
president, and Pueblo.
Of all places.
130 acres.
Wow.
My family was part of the Underground Railroad. I didn't know that. So there's so many things that I've learned. I knew we were in education. I knew that our family had done a lot in Frederick, Maryland, that side of the family. But I'm learning so much about all aspects of my family from this research. So I've started writing about it, both for my children and grandchildren. But I think, again, understanding history and the context of yourself makes it come alive. And so I'm really hoping to ignite that in so many other people.
That's great. Well, and you talked about that you come from a family of educators, and that's sort of just all natural to you. But was there a leader in your life that really influenced you in a deep way?
I have had many leaders in my life, starting with my grandmother. But I would say in the field of early childhood, almost every single boss that I had took me to a next level.
Oh, that's great.
So starting with Adele Phelan at Clayton, she was an incredible mentor around, I would say, doing things well, because she's a perfectionist. I believe in excellence, but she believed in perfection. So stretching myself that way. Sam Meisels, Dr. Sam Meisels at the Buffett Early Childhood Institute, was also a lot like Adele, but just really instrumental in me understanding the history of early childhood and assessment and how we can make high quality environments for children's learning. And Sam Gary, who I worked for, who was able to support the Denver preschool program with the sales tax, and just seeing how he invested money to move public opinion about the importance of early childhood in Denver was critically important. There are others, but I would say those are my top ones.
Got it. Well, and I'm curious too, as you think about, their influence on you, and certainly you have influence on all these other people that you mentor. What advice do you give to young people that are, coming up in the field, or maybe have a specific passion about a particular issue to find their way?
Well, first of all, it's picking your passion.
Yeah.
And again, I told you I wasn't sure that education was a passion of mine, but I also did not understand there were different pathways. And so being guided in a sense to find that pathway, I think, is important. So if you know what you love, if you feel like there's something that you would do it for free, that is a passion. And so starting there, surrounding yourself with the right people that are going to be honest with you about your skills and knowledge and want to set you up for success is important. So I would say those are the two main things with leadership, is finding a passion and then surrounding yourself with the people who will make you successful.
Yes, absolutely. Great advice. Well, and I think the other piece of being able to sustain in service fields is being able to take care of yourself.
Yes.
And I know that that's an important thing to you. In fact, I think that you just were named the Harmon Award for Early Childhood Mental Health recently, right? And you've really centered emotional well-being in policy. And I wanted to ask you about that. Certainly on the policy level, like, why has that been important? But on the personal level too, like how has that shown up for you and being able to, sustain your own leadership in taking care of yourself from a mental health perspective?
Mental health physical health is important. Mental health is just equally as important. I will tell you, I just did a conference, the NASLE conference, National Association of School Leaders in Early Education.
Uh-huh.
And they were talking about suspensions and expulsions. And Dr. Rosemary Allen, who I did my doctorate with, has really focused on that and helped us to craft policy at the state level around ensuring that we're not suspending infants and toddlers and preschoolers all the way up to second and third grade. And what we have that's unique in Colorado is that we have early childhood mental health consultation supports and a number that people can call to get help. So if you're a provider and you're at your wit's end and you don't know how to support a child in their learning, you can get the support line or get a consultation.
Wow.
The families also can get this type of support. So it's really important we use the Devereaux Early Childhood Assessment to figure out, again, what children need to thrive in a classroom. It also will tell you if, as a teacher, you're not able to do this on your own, you actually need to do a referral to a professional. So that is something that's unique to Colorado and something that other states want to emulate. I do talk to our staff about their mental health because caregivers tend to burn themselves out. And so it's very, very important for us to do things that bring us joy, take breaks when we need them. I know when I'm getting burned out, I get a little snippy. And then like, time to take a break. Time, whatever that means. I'm going to go get a chai or I'm going to go get some kind of latte because I like those kinds of drinks. Or I'm going to take a walk or read a book, the whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's great advice. Well, and I wanted to ask you too, those resources that you talked about, that is amazing.
One of the resources that we have is raisingcoloradokids.com.
Okay.
So any family can get on there and find out which of our programs they qualify for, which they don't, and why. Our early childhood mental health resources are actually on our website.
Okay.
So the CDEC website. So I will make
we
sure
can
you
put
have
that
all
in the
that
show
information.
notes.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think that's a very
and our
part.
phone line I'll give you as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Terrific. Thanks. It's wonderful to know about those resources, and certainly prioritizing all kinds of our health is very important. Yeah. So thank you for talking about that. We are made it to the lightning round. I can't believe how fast that's gone. But I've got 4 more questions for you before we wrap today. And that is, Lisa, what's your favorite Colorado hobby?
I would say I love the mountains. So when I do get to hike, I love that. I'm not one of those 14ers. I've done one of those, but definitely looking at and being in the mountains is one of my favorite Colorado hobbies.
Excellent. Well, me too, for sure. Okay. Favorite Colorado landmark?
Favorite Colorado landmark. That one's harder, but I'm going to pick Red Rocks. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. Get to see a concert or a movie. For those who like to walk up and down the stairs, they can get their exercise. There's something for everyone, exactly.
Yeah, that is a very special, unique place here. Love it. Okay, what action hero do you most identify with?
So Batman, but I'm going to call myself Batwoman.
Batwoman. All right, well, tell us more.
The reason being is that Batman is about justice and so doesn't try to hurt people, but wants folks to do the right thing. Had a lot of trauma in his life, but was able to overcome it to try to pay it forward and really help people. So, and then doesn't want everyone to know that it's him.
Yeah, I like that.
I like those things about Batman.
And that totally fits your humble nature as well. I love that. Great answer. Okay, and is there something that you're currently binging? Maybe there's a show or a book or a podcast that's maybe wasting your time, or maybe it's inspiring you. I don't know.
I wish. I'm right now binging on the news, just trying to keep up with what's going on in the world.
Sure.
The work is very demanding. I'm a grandmother, so if I was going to binge on anything, and I do, it's spending time with my grandchildren.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's a wonderful answer. Love that. Well, it's so nice to spend some time with you. And thank you so much for your public service and this really important leadership role for our state, and the perfect person at the perfect time, especially it's the departments being launched. We're so grateful for your efforts.
Thank you for joining Colorado Leadership Stories, where we hope to inspire the next generation of Colorado community builders, doers, and difference makers. Colorado Leadership Stories is presented by the Boettcher Foundation. The Boettcher Foundation supports Colorado by empowering leaders and communities with tools to tackle challenges and pursue opportunities, building a better state for everyone. With an 85-plus year legacy of giving back, we're committed to amplifying our impact for future generations. That's the spirit of Boettcher.